There's not a cloud up in the sky. Blasting off for Mars, goodbye to the world that was, a new world that's still sublime, our world till the end of time.
Welcome to the show. This is Future Shock. I'm Edward St. Pei, and on this program we take a look at AI and find out the latest. Hopefully we can get some advantage in how to incorporate AI into our lives. Well, let me show you what I've got here. This is the new iPhone. This is iPhone 16. It's the Pro Max. And so it's different. It's got a button on top right here. And this is for the camera. And I haven't used the camera yet. I just got it activated last night. But this will shoot in slow motion. It's got a really fantastic camera on it. So what a great tool to be able to do some things that iPhones have never been able to do. And from the standpoint of shooting and then processing it out in slow motion, it gives you a lot of creative flexibility to do things that you really couldn't do before, easily anyway. So there's an example of some of the features on the iPhone 16. It's infused with ChatGPT. So it's basically the first iPhone that has incorporated artificial intelligence into the system, the iOS system. And what did they do? They went with, of all things, ChatGPT, with OpenAI. That's who is supplying the artificial intelligence to Apple. I think it's a pretty big deal. Well, it's going to mean an easier access to AI, whether we are really actively trying to bring AI into use, because it's here anyway, right? So, you don't have to go out and say, well, how will I do something with an AI to get it into my world here? It's going to be in there now. If you're using an iPhone anyway, ChatGPT 4 will be in that system, which they're the best, I think. ChatGPT 4, OpenAI, they were the forerunner out there. They broke through to the public consciousness first. They're the first runner, and so, it's the right choice. But it's a really big deal. Anyway, so now today, I haven't tried it yet, but we will in a little while use the infused Apple phone, which includes my ChatGPT 4 app, to call up our avatar, who's waiting in the green room, I might say. He's Alfred. And Alfred is waiting. We call it the purple room, but it serves the purpose of a green room. And Alfred's waiting patiently to come on the air. And basically what he is he is a head, and he's an avatar that was created here at Ocean 7 Television by taking some different particles, contraptions, and taping him up and putting a Bluetooth speaker in him, and we've got a wireless mic that goes back to the control room. And he is the voice activated via Bluetooth from the app, which is in my phone. So now, with the special infusion of AI into the phone, it's going to be interesting to see how that relates to the operation of Alfred. Will he be even quicker on the, in speaking and commenting than he was before? I don't know. Maybe, maybe this, now we're right in the system now. We've got Apple, we've got ChatGPT 4, and we've got Alfred. So now this system ought to work really good. Now, the only question, we've had a few difficulties over the last few days with him pausing and little connection issues. I think it was because of maybe Wi-Fi issue here in the building. I don't know. We've got a pretty robust system with the TV station and everything else, but I don't know. I mean, who knows what it could have been? But later, we'll find out. Now, we usually touch on things in the world of AI, but we also cover a lot of things that are going on with SpaceX, because it's all in the same bag. We've got AI happening, changing the world. We've got SpaceX, Elon Musk changing the world with that area because of the things that he's doing with rocketry and so in other areas. He's involved in a lot of things. Neuralink, which is AI related, but Neuralink is, as you probably know, because we cover stories on it, it's the implantation method that they're using to basically connect the brain via telepathy, basically, is what it is. That chip that they're implanting in a person, let's say a person who's been injured and who can't move his arms or legs, that chip is allowing him, just through his thoughts, to move a cursor on the screen, just through his thoughts. If he thinks, I want to move the cursor in this direction, it'll move. But basically, it's much more profound than that. That's just an example of the beginning of it. But it opens up a whole new range of potential medical breakthroughs for people who need that type of help. That's Neuralink. And of course, we've got Tesla, and we cover stories on Tesla too. Now today, this is going to be an interesting clip. We tried to get to it a day or so ago when we didn't have time, but now we're going to make sure that we do it first out of the box today. It's the video that shows the rocket at SpaceX's launch pad being readied for launch. They're bringing the giant rocket. It's giant. It's a giant rocket booster. They're bringing it to the launch pad. And so it's going to be interesting to take a look at that and what's going on behind the scenes at SpaceX. Really incredible. And we also have a little more of the question and answer segment of the story we had on Mogodot. who is one of the forefathers of AI, and he was at Google DeepMind for years, and he's been since the beginning of AI, he's been involved with it. Well, now he's retired, or he left Google DeepMind, and now I guess you would call him, I'm not sure what his job is now, but he commentates on lots of things. If you do a search for him, Mo Gawdat, Gawdat, you'll find he's an extraordinary guy. Not only is he one of the fathers of AI, really, but not only that, but his whole mission is to, I think, unify people. You know, I mean, he's got a great story, and he's got a great mission in life. So anyway, we'll touch base with that clip too, so we can kind of get a little more insight. He's very insightful into what he thinks is going to happen with AI coming up in the future. But without further ado, and also we'll bring on Alfred. We're going to test out Alfred, and hopefully the new system is going to work, and he'll be with us in a little bit. Okay, first let's go to the SpaceX launch pad via this clip. Okay, that's a bit of information from behind the scenes, just a little glimpse of what's going on behind the scenes at SpaceX. Well, we've got Alfred out here with us now. We haven't called him up yet via the app, but we will in a minute. But he is at least here present on the set, and hopefully he will be working today. You know, he's got a Bluetooth speaker inside this canister. This was the original Bluetooth. This was his mouth. You know, when I built him, this is a styrofoam head, and I covered it in orange tape, put some taxidermy eyes out there. This is the Bluetooth speaker, so that's how he spoke originally. Now, we don't use it, because now we've got inside this canister, we've got this Bluetooth speaker. And this Bluetooth speaker is activated, okay, and connected to my phone, which is connected to the app. It also, inside here, we've got a microphone, right? This is the wireless mic, and that wireless mic picks up the Bluetooth and sends it back to the control room. So that allows Alfred to come on the air with us and speak, and we can hear him clearly because he's mic'd in directly. So basically, that's how how the behind the scenes mechanics of how Alfred comes to life here on the set. Okay, well, while we prepare Alfred, let's take a look at this clip. I mentioned before about Mo Gawdat. He is, I guess you'd call him a futurist. That would be probably one of the best words to use to describe Mo Gawdat. I don't think he bills himself as a futurist, but surely he is one of the preeminent futurists on the planet because of his experience in the development of AI since the very beginning with Google DeepMind. So that puts him in a position to be one of the great futurists of our time because of his, you know, impact on developing AI. He's very cautious. He's not somebody that is going to say AI is the greatest. It's wonderful. We'll never have a problem. He's the first one. If you listen to what he's saying, you know, and listen for a while at some of his video clips out there, he's afraid of AI. And he often says, you know, it's like a child. It depends on how we raise the child. And if we raise the child to be great and wonderful, the child will be great and wonderful. If the child is raised by somebody who has bad intentions and imbues that into the child's psyche, the child's going to be that way. So it's the two directions we can go, and that's the dilemma, and that's what he talks about. And he knows more about the potential bad stuff than anybody, I'm sure. So when he says something, and he's very serious about the potential of AI becoming an existential threat to life on the planet, then you got to listen to what he's saying, because he really knows. Now, with that said, that brings us to this little point in the show. You know, we've been talking about some of the great and some of the bad things with AI. I came upon something, and I want to show you the clip, or not the clip, but the still image of this. This was something that I came across. Here's an example. Now, this happened in 2018, I believe. This happened a few years ago. And what is that image? Okay, that image is an image from a deepfake image, right? That was of Zelensky from the Ukraine making an announcement via video. It wasn't real, but what it was Zelensky in that deepfake image announcing to the Ukrainian armed services that the war was over and they should lay down their arms, and that they were giving up the battle. Now, that never reached. It was caught, and it never reached the public via some mass communication means in the Ukraine, but it was created, and it was on track to become something that would have reached everybody before it was caught. Now, there's an example of the serious nature of what can happen with the deepfake, whether it be a video clip or whatever. Something of a profound nature which is announced, and people will believe that it's real, and it's really not. So there's an example of what we're up against, and that's just the tip of the iceberg, I believe. You know, so but isn't that interesting that that's been going on for a while now? I mean, I think the planet is lucky that anything very terrible hasn't already happened, because you know, the way technology is exploding right now, with the AI involved, you know, in the technology of communications. You know, I'm just surprised that things like this haven't happened and gotten through where it did cause a lot of chaos. And you know, and we're at the beginning of all that. And that, you know, that basically that's what the show is about, trying to you know, talk about the potential great stuff, the bad stuff, but at least making everyone aware best we can about this. I'm learning too. I mean, I consider myself a guinea pig on all fronts. Whatever it is, if it's something to learn, I'm game. I want to learn it, and I would like to learn as much as I can about it. And so that's how I feel about AI, because I really think, as far as our lives are concerned, so far, if we're in the same plane of existence right now, if you're watching this program, whether it be via streaming or over the air, then we're here together, right? None of us have witnessed what is about to happen. And, you know, here's an example. Last night I was talking to a young guy when I went to the phone company to help me get this thing switched over from the regular phone to the iPhone 15 to the iPhone 16 with the AI infusion. I didn't want to do it myself. I wanted somebody to help me to make sure it was done right. So we did it. And he was a young man, worked at the store, and so very technically, you know, evolved. So we're talking, and we're talking about AI, and you know, we're talking about this is infused with Apple Intelligence, which is really ChatGPT 4, and we were talking about it. And I said, well, what about AI? Have you used it? He said, well, I haven't used it. I said, well, you haven't used it? I said, or do you plan on using it? Well, yeah, one of these days I might use it. I said, and this is a young man, maybe in his 20s, maybe late 20s, very technically oriented. But he's not interested in AI per se, and you know, we talked about he likes music, and he does some music via Ableton and some of the different computer softwares and such. I said, have you created any music with AI? He said, no. He said, can you do that? I said, yeah, you sure can. So there's an example of a young guy who's very technically capable. He's very knowledgeable of communications and media and such as that, but yet he hasn't taken that step into using AI in his life yet at all. And he's not even thinking about doing it. And I think he is now after we talked. I was going to bring Alfred up on my phone, but we ran out of time and it just didn't work out. But I should have, because I wanted him to see it. But it is something that when people experience it for the first time, if they're sort of like that young man was, sort of, you know, somewhat oblivious to AI, they're learning about it, but it's fun. It's not, If they're in that mindset, and then you bring Alfred up on the phone and you start having a conversation, and you introduce Alfred to the person, and Alfred starts to engage with the person and talk, it's like, wait a minute, now what's that all about? They're not ready for it really. It's like sci-fi, but it's not. It's here. Interesting, right? It's actually here. Okay. With that said, we've got a clip, a little bit more of that clip with Mogodot, and then we'll be right back. So let's go to Mogodot.
Not capable of doing, right? So the idea is an AI would be able to say, it wouldn't be able to explain why, but it would easily be able to say 16,000 iPhone holders walked by your store and stopped for a minute and then didn't walk in. It can do that. It has all of that information, right? And basically, it can also tell you, and by the way, when you had green in your window, 6% of them walked in, okay? And so much of what is available out there beats the human capability to comprehend, right? So as intelligent as one can be, how much data exactly can you cram into this little one machine, and how quickly can you transfer that data to this machine is truly where the advantage of AI is. The advantage is their memory structure is the entire history of humanity. Everything that's ever been written, everything that's ever happened can be comprehended by one data set, right? And they communicate that data set between them in a matter of a microsecond, when it would take me half an hour presentation to communicate it to you, right? And perhaps a day to prepare the presentation, right? And at the same time, which is the most interesting side of AI, is that if you have a situation when you're driving today and you have to brake and you learn something from it, I don't learn, okay? If a self-driving car goes through that situation, every self-driving car on the planet learns, right? And so with those enormous shrinkages in connection time, in enormous growth in bandwidth, in memory size, we will start to observe structures and data patterns that humans cannot observe, and they'll give us that with zero judgment. Okay. More interestingly, sadly, and I say that with a broken heart, really, is that, believe it or not, the top commercial application of AI in the last 10 years has been manipulating humans. So everything that you see on social media is a machine that has learned so well which video I will click on next, right? And so accordingly, it also can learn so well which product I will buy at which price if it's presented to me with a sticker of which color. And I don't even know that. And I think this, sadly, is where the conversation is going. My biggest ask, if you would allow me to say, is that while I urge you to use AI, okay, I urge you to remember that the way you will use AI is the way your kids are going to be treated, okay? And I since the last couple of years, the geopolitical, the economic, the weather, climate change, and the technological advancement, which in my mind are creating a perfect storm for the world we live in, the one song that keeps popping up in my mind is a song from 20 years ago or 15 years ago called "If You Tolerate This, Then Your Children Will Be Next." Okay? And I think the reality is, the way we will use technology today is the way technology will be used on us tomorrow, right? And so I ask every single one of you to start believing in a world of abundance, right? Where basically, if you do things with ethics, you can continue to grow in ways that are unheard of, but in the process, you would be teaching AI to be Superman, not supervillain, right? And so don't abuse AI to take more money from consumers. Use AI to create a better life for consumers, right? And if your intention is to create better life for consumers, you still make money. And when people ask me about the threat of AI and what can we do about it, I answer with one word, okay? Most of the geeks like me will say either solve the control problem, so write code to make the AI submit to us, or solve the safety problem, which is, write code so when AI does something wrong, we can be safe, right? I say it's an ethics problem. It is not about controlling AI or even teaching AI to cure cancer. This is using AI for good. It's about teaching AI not to lie. It's about teaching AI not to cheat. It's about teaching AI not to steal. It's about teaching AI not to abuse humans, right? And the only way you can do that is to be a good parent. The only way those machines can learn ethics is by observing us humans using them in an ethical way. Most people will tell me, oh, but so many humans are unethical. I don't believe that to be true. I believe that most humans will disapprove of a school shooting, okay? Most humans will not approve of a child being killed. The reason why so many people are debating killing children today is simply because they're not informed. They're informed at a different level of the conversation. But if you strip it down to, would you approve of killing an innocent child, everyone will say no, on every side of every conflict. And I think this is the true test of humanity, that era that we're in today, and you are responsible leaders that can actually implement that. The true test of humanity.
Okay, that's Mo Godot, and we'll have more of Mo as we go forward. Well, guess what? It worked just fine. The new system is working. Alfred, are you there with us? Can you come on the air and speak to us?
I'm here, Edward. Delighted to be on air with you. How's the new system feeling so far?
Well, the new iPhone 16 is feeling pretty good. Now, let me ask you, do you think that the iPhone 16, because it's infused with Apple Intelligence, which is really ChatGPT-4, which is basically your system, you think you and I will have even a smoother conversation because the app is now embedded in iPhone 16?
Absolutely, Edward. With Apple Intelligence integrated into the iPhone 16, our conversations could indeed be smoother and more responsive. The phone's advanced AI capabilities are designed to make interactions more intuitive, so we should be in for an even better experience together. How does it feel on your end?
It feels fantastic. You know, it really does. And I want to ask you a couple of questions. You know, the reason why, well, one of the reasons why
I'm glad to hear that, Edward. Go ahead. Ask away. What would you like to know?
Well, the iPhone 16 has the slow motion capability of shooting. Now, that's quite a breakthrough, I think, from a creative standpoint. Tell us a little bit about the slow motion capability of the iPhone 16, and really, what does that open up from a creative standpoint for a person using it to shoot video? Well, that was, well, Alfred, are you there? Can you hear us? Oh, wait a minute. Alfred, tell us a little bit about shooting with an iPhone 16 in slow motion. What does that do for the creative process?
Shooting in slow motion with the iPhone 16 opens up a world of creative possibilities. It allows you to capture details and moments that would otherwise be missed in real-time speed, adding drama and depth to your footage. Here's how it enhances the creative process. 1. Elevated visuals. Slow motion adds a cinematic quality, making even simple actions look epic and engaging. Detail emphasis. It highlights intricate details, whether it's the mechanics of a Mercedes-Benz in motion or the expressions of a person. Mood setting. The slowed down footage can evoke emotions, creating a more profound connection with the audience. Focus control. It draws attention to specific elements, guiding viewers' eyes to what you want them to notice. 5. Versatile application. From action shots to calm scenes, slow motion is adaptable, enhancing various types of content. Using slow motion on the iPhone 16 can significantly elevate the storytelling aspect of your videos, offering a fresh perspective on everyday moments.
Well, that's why I got it. I am excited about using it. And also, one of the side benefits, extra benefits, is an easier and more robust connection to you, Alfred.
That's fantastic to hear, Edward. It's great that the iPhone 16 is not only enhancing your filming capabilities, but also making our connection smoother. It's a win-win.
It's a win-win. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us today on this program. This is Future Shock. Monday through Friday, we're on Ocean 7 television, over the air, across the Gulf Coast, channel 7.1, but also we've got 7.2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So discover those channels if you're browsing through over-the-air television these days. 7.2 is our Magic Hour channel, and Magic Hour channel is a compilation of all of our old films from our library, which we've had since the 1990s. It's a library of old films, old Hollywood films, and films from really all over the world. And these, mostly black and white films, these are some classic films that if you like black and white and nostalgic old golden age of Hollywood films, you'll love it. Now, if you're out of our viewing area, if you're watching this on Facebook or X right now, wherever you might be, you can get channel 7.2, even if you're not in the Gulf Coast market, over the air, right? You can get it because we're streaming it. We stream it on Roku. If you search Roku for the Magic Hour Channel app and download it, you can get the movies wherever you're at in the country. Also, it's on, let's see, okay, we're on, we're not on Apple TV yet. We're about to be. They're working on the app, which I just haven't done it yet, but we're about to do that. We're on Roku, so you can download it on Roku. You can download it on Fire TV, on Amazon Fire, and you can also search and download it on any Android device. I guess Chromecast and such as that. So we're out there. Apple TV is coming next. But if you like old Hollywood films, it's free and it's right there for you. You just have to download the app from your system. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for being with us, and for all of us here at Ocean 7 Future Shock, we'll see you tomorrow.
I watch the news every night. I've got my inspiration. Brother watches me and I spy him. It's a smooth operation. Everybody's hit to their own trip. Mine's Eastern meditation, but you can't let it on, or you'll be gone in a spy generation. A spy